One of the things that you and I must embrace as we look at the second half of John 10 this morning. 3 things really, and I front load this so that you won't miss it. Context is critical. Context is critical. Christ is king always. And you and I may not get another chance to surrender to his lordship. There must be a sense of urgency for each one of us, and as we carry the love and the light of Christ to those we know. Again, this week I was notified of another death. 45-year-old friend of mine from the Army. 3 children, a couple of grandchildren. Gone. Be ready. Be ready. Let me ask you, think about this for a minute. Recognizing that you and I may be here this morning, or within the sound of my voice through the media, you may be at the crossroad of your last chance to accept Christ. Right here, right now. This may be your last chance. Those sitting next to you, those that you know, this may be their last chance. In the second half of John, we're going to see Jesus give his last public dissertation, his last public preaching to the masses in John's account. It's the last chance for many who are in the crowd to hear the truth and the love of Christ. It's the last chance. What fatal last chance. What fatal final warning might this be for those you and I know and love? Let me ask you, do you know the name Cyril Evans? Does it ring a bell? Cyril Evans. Maybe not unless you're a history buff. I want to take you back almost exactly a little over 100 years ago. Almost to the day, mid-April. Cyril Evans is a man that I believe you know about. You just may not know him. Cyril Evans is one who finds himself in a place of telling the truth and knowing all too well in the aftermath of what a final, fatal rejection of truth can look like. You see, Cyril Evans was on a ship called the SS Californian. Any of you familiar with the SS Californian? About 100 years ago, this was a ship that found itself in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and suddenly stopped dead still. Absolutely still. And the captain of the SS Californian says to Cyril Evans, who is the wireless telegraph operator at the time, I want you to get on the radio and I want you to tell everybody around us that we have stopped dead in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And to understand the technology of that day, what a telegraph operator like Cyril Evans would do is he'd get down, he'd put on his headphones, he'd crank the machine all the way up because you want to get the radio signal out as far as you can. And you'd begin to wirelessly telegraph, we, the SS Californian, are stopped dead in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and get the word as far out as you could. And that's what Cyril was doing. Now in that context, he explained why they had stopped. And there were ships that were hearing this far and wide away. One of those ships was not so far away. One was in fact so close to the SS Californian that it proved to be a major problem. You see, as Cyril Evans had his telegraph machine cranked all the way up, the ship that was so close, it would be almost like getting a radio station turned all the way up. And Jack Phillips, do you know that name? Jack Phillips, the other telegraph operator on this other ship that was so close to the SS Californian, was later reported to say that his ears almost erupted, that his eardrums almost burst because he was so close to the SS Californian. The truth was so loud that it actually got him angry. And it messed with him. And in his anger, he totally disregarded the message coming from the SS Californian. And you would say, probably, well, that's not good for the SS Californian, right? Wrong. See, the SS Californian and Cyril Evans, they were safe. Cyril Evans did the truth-telling. Jack Phillips, in the ship that he was on, the Titanic, was the one that was in trouble. Cyril Evans said, "We have stopped dead because we are in the midst of a huge ice field. Beware. The truth is that your captains need to know that this is the truth." Jack Phillips heard the truth so clearly, so loudly, but was so angered by it that he disregarded it. And on that April night, almost 1,500 people died in the waters associated with what you and I know as the Titanic. Friends, I come to you this morning with the truth so clearly, so loudly, but at the same time fearing that some of you will reject it. You will hear it and you will know it. And this may be your last chance. What will you do with the truth that, if surrendered to, can save your eternal life, but if neglected will bring you down, not to the bottom of the Atlantic, but to the bowels of hell? The truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ.